Today I'm going to talk about globalization. I'm going to talk about both the advantages and disadvantages of globalization. First off, what is globalization? Well, there are two terms that I'm going to tell you that will help your understanding of globalization. First off, the globalization of production. This is the buying, producing, and selling of products all around the world. For an example, a Dell laptop is manufactured in Austin, Texas, but the keyboard is from Mexico, and the cooling fans are from Taiwan. Globalization of labor. This is where companies hire people from all over the world for cheap labor and low wages. Now, what are some advantages of globalization? Some advantages of globalization is that products are cheaper. For an example, if you were to buy a pair of Nike shoes made in the US, it would be very expensive and probably not affordable. But with globalization, because it's made in China with cheap labor, it's very affordable and it's very cheap. Also, economic growth. Globalization has given those in developing countries greater opportunities. And also resources is another advantage of globalization. For an example, the smartphone is made with a rare earth metal that is only found in certain places in the world. Without globalization, we would probably not have the smartphone. Also, another advantage of globalization is increased global cooperation. Countries have to work with each other and put aside their differences. Many believe this is why there has been mainly peace in the recent decade. But there are some disadvantages to globalization. Local businesses are shipped overseas for cheaper labor. And this is a disadvantage as it has destroyed many communities. For an example, here in this picture is an old mill in Calhoun Falls, South Carolina. For decades, the people of Calhoun Falls were dependent upon that mill. That's where most people worked, and that's how they made a living for their family. But with globalization, jobs were shipped overseas, and the factory had to shut down. The people of Calhoun Falls have never recovered since then. They have declined by 21% in the last decade or so. Locals in Calhoun Falls say that it has never been the same since that mill had to shut down. They say back then the community used to thrive, but now it feels forgotten and forsaken because of globalization. And also, small businesses are just not big enough to keep up with the competition of production, so they have to shut down. So in conclusion, there are both some advantages and disadvantages in globalization. Some of the advantages are that you do get greater economic opportunities and prices are cheaper and products are cheaper. But some of the disadvantages is that businesses and communities are destroyed because of it. And that is all what I have to say about globalization.